Hello, good evening guys, and welcome to my first Football Manager 2016 experiment where I am going to put the old firm of Celtic and Rangers into the Premier League in England. There's been a much debate over years, of course, before Rangers got relegated and put down in divisions. This was a debate whether they two clubs could do it in the best league in the world. In my opinion, that is also up for debate. But Football Manager wise, we're going to find out, can Celtic and Rangers cut it in England? And I say England because last year I'd done the same experiment, and believe it or not, they got relegated after so long, but I named that experiment in the Premier League. So this time I'm naming this experiment, can Celtic and Rangers do it in England? So we're going to do a season by season review for maybe three seasons roughly. Then we'll sim it for maybe another 6 or 7 seasons, and after 10 years we'll see if Celtic and Rangers have had any success in England. Now, in terms of fairness, they will get a lot of money for TV, etc. And they will, after so long, be able to match most of the clubs in the Premier League for money, out with maybe the top 4 or 5 clubs. But we're going to see how they can do. Can the squads they currently have match the other squads in the division? I've replaced Bournemouth and Sunderland with Celtic and Rangers. Celtic are media predicted to finish 17th. Rangers, meanwhile, are predicted to finish 20th, of course, in the league below Celtic. So in the opening games of the season, Celtic will travel away to the current champions, Chelsea, at Stamford Bridge, while Rangers will welcome Swansea City to the Ibrox. So this is basically the intro to it, guys. We will get to Season 1 ending and we will review it, check out the transfers, check out the done in the tables, see who the star men were, and we will do the same for 3 or 4 seasons and then do one big review at the end of 10 seasons. So guys, the end of Season 1 where the old firm are now in the Premier League, and as you can see, they finished 19th and 20th. Rangers winning 2 games out of 38, 3 draws, and losing a massive 33 games. They only scored 18 goals, which is abysmal, conceding 85, making them the worst defence in the league. Whereas Celtic won 7 games, they drew 4, they lost 27. They scored 36 goals, conceded 73. They were quite a way off the 17th spot and survival. They were way behind. Rangers only picking up 9 points, Celtic 25 points, 11 adrift of 17th place West Brom. Aston Villa also go down. So, Celtic and Rangers will be playing in the Championship next season. We will see if they can get promoted, but let's have a look a little bit more in depth at Season 1. So we'll start off with Rangers, and as you can see, a new manager is in place. Mark Warburton got sacked, replaced by Chris Powell. Let's see if he can take them back to the Premier League next season, and in the league that they're trying to maintain themselves, really push on and do something. But very poor in this campaign. Mark Warburton obviously replaced. Can they bounce back? But let's have a look at the transfers they've done in this season. So as expected, a small budget is what they had. Of course, they might have a little bit more to try and push them back into the Premier League next season. But for just now, Tom Hateley come in, Stephen Hunt, Davor Lovren on loan. I think he is a potential wonder kid on the game. Bailey Cargill on loan. Luke Leahy from Falkirk. Kerrish Goddard on a free transfer. And Darrell Westlake from Kilmarnock. They sold Nicky Clark to Dundee United. Tom Walsh on loan to Motherwell. Ross Lyon. Fraser Aird also went out on loan. That surprises me. He's a pretty decent player, but in the level that Rangers are usually at. Andy Murdoch and Robbie Crawford out on loan to Kilmarnock. And Darren Ramsey got released on a free transfer. So here is the fixtures that Rangers had. Now a lot of Reds, as you can see, they only won 2 games in the season. But first one of those was against Newcastle United that came in the 3rd match of the season. They kept a clean sheet in that game also, and they also won in the Capital One Cup against Brighton. Now standout results, a 1-0 loss to Celtic, their old firm rivals of course. That'll be a bitter blow to them. And then they continue to lose and lose, and that streak is unbelievable. Honestly, it's like The Undertaker's at WrestleMania where he just won so many successive matches. look at Rangers losing so many successive matches. As you can see, the other Old Firm game at home, they lost 4-1 to Celtic, Ryan Hardy scoring the goal for Rangers. So tactically, this is how they set up: 4 at the back, 2 defensive midfielders, 3 going forward and 1 up top. In what was overall a poor season, the best player in the squad for Rangers was Rob Kiernan with a 7.03 average, which is pretty poor, but the rest of them were abysmal. James Tavernier getting a 6.82, he's probably one of their better players. In terms of goals, top goal scorer Davor Lovren, Barry Mackay, Nathan Ottawa getting 4 goals each in the campaign. Now their best player probably in the entire squad is Martin Waghorn. 28 starts, 4 substitute appearances and a measly 2 goals with a 6.12 average. So that just about wraps Rangers up after season 1, 20th in the Premier League. They will be going down to the Championship. We will see at the end of season 2 if they can bounce back and if they can make some signings that can take them up the table and up into the top league in England. Now let's have a look at the opposite side, the green side, Celtic. Now, as you've already seen, Celtic did finish 19th and they are also relegated, but key employees, the manager Ronny Deila, got sacked and replaced by the ever-present in England, Sam Allardyce. He's always got a job somewhere or another. He took over, he couldn't save them, they went down, but I wonder if Sam Allardyce can bounce back with them into the Premier League. He's done a great job at Bolton of that and West Ham. I'm sure Sam Allardyce, with his qualities and expertise, can get Celtic back into the Premier League at the first attempt. In terms of transfers for Celtic, they basically stuck with the team they had. The only player coming in, former Inter Milan player Ezequiel Skeletto, coming in on a free transfer. Kieran Tierney on loan to Sheffield United. Leo Faison to Palermo. Michael Duffy and Calvin Miller. He's a very good potential player. Went on loan to Scunthorpe and Fleetwood. That's the only transfer activity they had all season. Probably the reason why they're going down and relegated. Tactically, Celtic went very, very defensive this season. Probably didn't help their case. They went 4 at the back and 3, believe it or not, 3 defensive midfielders, 1 attacking midfielder and 2 strikers. That is quite defensive, and 3 central defensive midfielders is very, very defensive. I don't often see that on the game or in real life. In terms of best players this season, Charlie Mulgrew, 53 games played, 1 substitute appearance, 7.22. Craig Gordon got a 7.03 with 55 games played this season. The only 2 players to go above 7. In terms of goals, it was a bit better for Celtic than Rangers. Chris Commons getting a great 19 goals in 47 games. That is really impressive. Lee Griffiths, always been a goal scorer on Football Manager. 14 games in 46 starts, 2 substitute appearances. And Skeletto, the only transfer they brought in, 10 goals in 45 appearances. Skepovic out on loan, but they're showing him here. He got 9 goals this season. Stefan Johansson, a pretty decent player, 7 goals for the season. So that just about wraps up Celtic, guys. Sam Allardyce, can he take Celtic back into the Premier League with some decent signings and his experience? And can Chris Powell take Rangers back into the Premier League? So there you have it, guys. At the end of season 1 in the Old Firm in England, Celtic finished 19th, Rangers finished 20th. Both managers, Deila and Warburton, sacked. Can Powell and Allardyce take the clubs back into the Premier League? Let's find out at the end of the Season 2 review. Okay guys, so welcome to the end of Season 2 in the Old Firm in England experiment on Football Manager 2016. Now, as you know, both teams got relegated to the Championship, and here is the end of Season 2 table. Celtic have won promotion in second place back to the Premier League, whereas Rangers finished 19th and struggled in the Championship. Rangers playing 46 games, winning 13, drawing 14, losing 19, scoring 51, conceding 56 goals, whereas Celtic won 26 games, drew 11, lost 9, scoring 85, making them the top goal scorers in the league, conceding 43 goals. Let's have a little more in-depth look at how they got on and what changes have been made during the season. So we'll go to Rangers first, and as you can see, Chris Powell is still in charge after taking over from Mark Warburton last season. He's still in charge. I thought they would be much higher than what they did finish in 19th. I expected around maybe 9th or 10th, but it wasn't to be. Let's have a look at the transfers and the squad and see who's done well this season. So a lot of business has been done, and Rangers have spent a lot of money in Season 2. Let's have a look at the transfers. So, Matt Smith coming in from Fulham, Danny Ward from Rotherham, Sam Manton from Walsall, Jamie Ward from Nottingham Forest, Devante Cole from Bradford, Sam Winnall from Barnsley, a loan deal for Jake Hesketh of Southampton, Danny Mayer from Bury, Marvin Emnes from Swansea City, Harry Charsley on a free transfer, Bradley Dack from Gillingham, 1.4 million. As it stands, it looks like the most expensive deal brought in. Most deals were under $1 million. Tom Clark from Preston, Jose Angel Crespo from Aston Villa, Johnny Russell, of course, he used to play in Scotland and for Scotland and at Dundee United. Shane Ferguson, former loanee from Newcastle United, comes in on a permanent deal. Also coming in is Chris Basham from Sheffield United, Oriel Romeo from Southampton on loan, Modu Barrow on loan, Joseph Duodu, Henry Lansbury, good little player there, Cameron Jerome, very cheap at £88,000, Chris Castle, Ricky Lambert, £93,000, and Tim Matavs. That completes the transfers in. 9.6 million spent in the Championship, which is bizarre considering how bad they've done after spending so much money. Outgoing, as you've seen at the tail end of last season, was Darren Ramsey, Dylan Dykes, David Brownlee, Josh Jeffries, Jamie Brandon, Jordan Gibson, Ryan Cinnamon, Max Ashmore, Robbie McCrory to Southampton, Martin Waghorn went to Bristol City, Ryan Hardy, he's a decent young talent, went to Hearts, Jamie Mills, Dean Shields, Nicky Law, David Templeton, Lewis White, Scott Roberts. Remember, some of these guys might be regenerated players. Tom Haitley, 1 season signed and gone. Tom Lang to Bournemouth, Barry Mackay to St Johnstone, Ross Lyon, Andy Halliday, Ross McCrory, Tom Walsh, Robbie Crawford and Craig Halkett are the players going out. Only £622,000 has been sold. As for best players of the season, 7.26 sees Rob Kiernan take the best player for the second season in a row. For Rangers, Lee Wallace, 7.14. Danny Wilson, 7.07, he's a good defender. Wes Foran getting a 7.01. The rest are under 7 for the season. In terms of goals, Bradley Dack got 9, Jamie Ward got 6, Matt Smith got 6, Danny Ward got 5. A couple of players, Lansbury and Basham, got 4. A couple of players got 3, Russell and Matavs, where the other goals were split out 2-2-2 and 1-1-1. Let's have a look and see how Celtic got on. As you see, Celtic got promoted and they finished second in the league and they're going back to the Premier League. So, you knew last time Sam Allardyce was in charge, but I can tell you on the 27th of January in this season, Sam Allardyce left his position as Celtic manager. John Collins took over until February, and then Celtic, the green half of Glasgow, the big team, have great European nights. They hired a new manager that might shock you, a new manager that is a sensational appointment, a new manager that Celtic appointed was Zinedine Zidane. What an appointment that is. Zinedine Zidane comes in February and takes Celtic into the promotion spot and back to the Premier League. What an appointment. As you can see, we will go to the history, check the managers, and as you can see, Sam Allardyce left on the 27th of January. John Collins took over as caretaker and then left the position of the caretaker on the 18th of February when Zinedine Zidane came into play. He managed to win 8 games, draw 4 games and lose 4 games. So he's seen his side get promoted. Now we're going to get to see Zinedine Zidane do it with Celtic in the Premier League. So a lot of business has been done by Celtic in the Championship. Now look at that, 25 million spent. Let's dissect it. Simon Poulsen from PSV, Kevin Nolan, who comes from LA Galaxy, Elderson Eshiele from Monaco, Nikita Jelavic, former Rangers player as you know, Jafra Sakho, 5.25 million, big signing, probably the biggest. Fabian Lustenberger at the same price from Hertha Berlin. Dusan Kuszak, Marco Ruben, Nabil Elzar, former Liverpool player, Kelvin Wilson, actually a former Celtic player, Antoine Deveau, Lawrence Sadiku, Morris Edu, wow, that's a former Rangers player, Shea Ojo, Ryan Fraser, the former Aberdeen player, Lars Christopher Vielsvik from Midtjylland, and Peter Whittingham from Cardiff. So the biggest signing, Diafra Sakho, 25 million spent in the Championship. With that, they should really got promoted, and that is what they did. I'm really just surprised that Sam Allardyce left his role as the manager. Outgoings. James Forrest, a bit of a surprise actually, because he's a decent player. Darnell Fishel, Aidan McElduff, Jamie Lindsay and Stefan Johansson joined QPR, good player, 4.3 million. Anthony Stokes to Peterborough, Connor Hazard, Callum Waters, Cormac McManus, Luke Donnelly, Scott Brown, the captain, joins Swansea. Calvin Miller goes out on loan again, he's a decent little player to Motherwell. Joe Thompson to Barnet. Ezequiel Skeletto scored 10 goals in his first season with Celtic, but is sold on to Middlesbrough. Stuart Armstrong, a decent player. Chris Commons makes a bizarre move to Empoli. Carlton Cole goes out on a free. Logan Bailey does as well. Nadir Chifty goes to Wigan. Nir Biton, 4.7 million, good player to Dinamo Kiev. Effie Ambrose, delighted that he's gone. I'm sure Celtic fans would be in real life if he went. He's pretty awful. Sam Wardrop, Stefan Skepovic, Liam Henderson, Simon Poulsen, didn't even last a season, he lasted 6 months. Derek Borgater, Scott Allen, Tony Ralston, Paul McMillan, Nabil Elzar goes out on loan. Bizarre how some of these players are getting signed, then punted out on a permanent transfer pretty quickly, and then are on loan. Sam Wardrop and Craig Gordon, bizarrely, joined Los Angeles Galaxy. Let's check how the players done for the season and who was the pick of the bunch. So again, for the second season in a row, Charlie Mulgrew picks up the best average rating, which is very good, although in the Championship. 7.46 after 48 games. Although he is a bit of a decent free kick taker, so I'm surprised he hasn't got goals. Diafra Sakho, 7.15. Kelvin Wilson, 7.15. Lee Griffith, again getting some goals, 1 in every 2 in terms of starts. A lot of substitute appearances. A few other players got above 7. In terms of goals, a great return from Diafra Sakho, 29 in 41 appearances in total. Really good going there. Marco Ruben got 19, Lee Griffiths got 16, Ryan Christie got 13, Loret Sadiki got 6, Whittingham 5, Wilson 4, Yelovich 3, Mackay Stephen 2, and a couple of odd goals elsewhere. So there you have it, guys, the end of Season 2 review. Rangers finished 19th after spending a bit of money. They're going to stay in the league. Can Chris Powell take them back at the second attempt to get them back to the Premier League? Meanwhile, Zinedine Zidane, he is taking Celtic to the Premier League. Can he take it by storm? 25 million spent. Will he be given another war chest to try and get Celtic pushed up at least into mid-table and a comfortable Premier League team? We're going to sim one more season, guys, review it, get back to you, and we'll see after 3 seasons where the Old Firm sit in terms of playing in England. It was once something that was really highly thought of in terms of Scotland. A lot of people wanted it because they felt they were too good for Scotland. Meanwhile, some didn't want it because they believed Scottish clubs should stay in Scotland. But Football Manager 2016 is telling us what would happen if they played there in a virtual world. We'll be back very shortly for the end of Season 3 review. Okay guys, so it is the end of Season 3 and we will review the Old Firm in England. Now, Rangers, of course, as you know, under the managership of Chris Powell in the Championship. Well, last season they finished 19th. This season they finished 18th. Not much progress in terms of league position. They won 12 games out of 46, drawing 18, losing 16, scoring 48, conceding 58 goals. Now, they look like they're struggling and they spent a lot of money in the last season. We will check their transfers in a few moments and see who they bought and how they got on, and check who were the best players in the squad. So after that £20 million spent last season and no promotion, they finished one place higher this time round. Now, they didn't do much business. Maybe they had lack of cash due to spending it all. One player coming in, Marcus Edwards, a young talent on loan from Tottenham. Outgoings were £24,000. Cammy Bell, Andy Halliday, Ross King, Robbie Smith, Danny Mayer, Sam Winnall, Darryl Westlake, Ross Lyon, Darryl Westlake on loan again, Westlake on loan again, all 3 times to Blackpool, Jamie Barra-Jonas, and Fraser Aird, a decent player, released on a free transfer. So in all fairness, quite a boring season in terms of transfers brought in to Rangers. Now, as for best player of the season, Rob Kiernan got it 2 seasons in a row, and he has slipped slightly in average to 8.7. The best player was Lee Wallace with a 7.22. Shane Ferguson, but he didn't play many games, got a 7.13. Danny Wilson with a 7.12. And Jose Angel Crespo with a 7.07. In terms of goals, 11 goals for Tim Matavs in 40 appearances, 9 for Cameron Jerome, 8 for Danny Ward, 7 for Henry Lansbury, Bradley Dat getting 6, Johnny Russell 5, Tavernier 3 goals, and that about wraps up the goals. So a poor season from Rangers. Chris Powell still in charge, 18th in the Championship, no promotion, not even close or in with a sniff. Doesn't look like Rangers are going to go getting back to the Premier League anytime soon. So as you know, last season Sam Allardyce left halfway through and was taking over and replaced by the world famous Zinedine Zidane. So he got them secured promotion in 2nd place. And how did he get on in the Premier League? As you can see, 16th. So they finished 8 points above relegation place, which saw Derby, Fulham and Leicester go down. Out of 38 games, Zinedine Zidane and his squad managed to win 11, 6 draws, but far too many losses, 21 in total. 41 goals scored, 60 conceded. Let's look a little bit more in depth at the team and transfers and how they got on. So last season they spent over 20 million, and this season they have spent 16.75 million. Now it shows that they get money to spend in this league. Chris Maxwell coming in, I believe he's a goalkeeper from Fleetwood. Richard O'Donnell, I actually think he's a goalkeeper also from Wigan. 8.75 million for Lucas Piazon from Chelsea. Jean-Paul Botius coming in from Basel, he's a good young player. And Stephen Davidson from Hearts. That's nearly £17 million spent on 5 players, the bulk of it on Botius and Piazon. Now, in terms of outgoings, they only sold £500,000 worth. Calvin Miller, the talent again, going out on loan. Kevin Nolan, released on a free. Kieran Tierney went to Hearts on loan. Chris Maxwell signed and put out on loan. Elderson Eshiel to Brighton, he was a former signing. Nabil El-Zar going out on loan also. Jozo Simunic going to Chesterfield on loan, and Michael Duffy going to Wickham on loan. Not much happening in terms of outgoings. A lot of players going out, but nothing major. Let's check and see who done best this season for Celtic. So in a tough campaign for Celtic, only 2 players managed to get above 7 rating. Lauren Sadiki for 7.09, Fabian Lustenberger, the new vice-captain under Zidane, 7.03. Then you will struggle to find any consistent performer after that. In terms of goals, they struggled. Ryan Christie, 8, Marco Rubin, 8, and Diafra Sakho, the signing in the Championship, who got 20 plus nearly 30 goals in the Championship, got 8 this season. Jean-Paul Botius, 6, and Lee Griffiths is struggling in the Premier League and got 6 goals. He is a good goal scorer on this game if you use him correctly. So that is how they done, guys, in the league, back in the Premier League under Zinedine Zidane. So guys, I was planning on doing a long-term simulation of this, but I think we've wrapped up 3 seasons, and I think that is not bad just now, and we're going to wrap this video up at around 24-25 minutes. Now, the reason I'm wrapping up here is because I don't like to keep my videos too long. Usually I like to keep them between 8 and 15 minutes, but because it's a 3-season sim and a lot of people liked this last year, we decided to do it again. Now I think what we'll do is break this into 2 parts, do the 3 seasons now, release this video, and then we will come back in a week or 2, bring you part 2, we'll go to 10 seasons in, and we'll see just how Celtic and Rangers got on in England and what they can do. Thanks for checking out the video, guys. Like it if you did enjoy it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. We're growing every day on there. Don't forget to check us out on Twitter at the FM WizKids and on Facebook, our home, and we are a big part of the community on there. Nearly 16,000 people, the Football Manager WizKids. Thanks guys, loving FM16, it's really enjoyable. I will be bringing you more videos very, very soon. Thanks and take care, and I'll speak to you soon.